How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back. So this Friday is Halloween. I decided to do something really special here. I'm going to do like a top 5 horror movie part 2 sequels. So I've seen some people on YouTube do this kind of topic here, but so I decided I want to do like focus on the movies I have the most nostalgia for, which would be like from the 70s and 80s. So in the comments, if you want to give me your like top 5 from 21st century, you want to do that. Nostalgia for people is going to depend on your age. So so there really are no wrong answers here, in my opinion. So have fun with this. If you want to do top 5, top 10, feel free. There's some really great franchises out there. Okay, so number 5 for 1987, director Sam Raimi. Movie's called Evil Dead 2. So this one's starring the legendary Bruce Campbell, has Dan Hicks. He was in like a lot of movies from Sam Raimi, and the ones with like Bruce Campbell. I think he was in like Maniac Cop and Intruder. This one's a lot of fun. This one has a much larger budget than the first one. The first one was very like independent. But this one's a lot of fun. I love it, and very creepy what's happening like in the cellar in this movie. Some of the dead that kind of come out through the cellar. Bruce Campbell, this is the one where he, something happens to his hand in the movie. This one's definitely more like a Three Stooges kind of movie. Okay, so number 4 for 1981, director Steve Miner. Movie's called Friday the 13th Part 2. This one, I love this franchise, especially like the first 4 movies in this franchise. I love like anything that takes place like on campgrounds, those kind of movies. I love the way they're lit, I love this is like the terror in these movies, and they're a lot of fun. But this one has like in the beginning, it has like Adrienne King from the first one, the final girl from the first one. She played Alice. Very strange what happens at the beginning of this movie. Okay, so number 3 for 1981, director is Rick Rosenthal. Movie's called Halloween 2. So I love this movie. I know later on they kind of changed the storyline. In this one, Laurie and Michael Myers are brother and sister. They kind of have that storyline. Obviously, John Carpenter only directed the first one, and he kind of wrote this one. But I still love this. A lot of it takes place in a hospital. It has the Donald Pleasance is back. He's great in this franchise. Dick Warlock is the stuntman that plays Michael Myers. So there's so much great stuff that happens in this hospital. Yeah, it's very scary. Love like the nurses in this movie. a lot of stuff, and basically it's basically like a small town. So I guess the hospital's not like full of patients at the time, but it's great. It has Dana Carvey. He actually makes like a cameo in this movie. Okay, so number 2 for 1978. This one got released in '79 in the U.S., but director is George Romero. Movie's called Dawn of the Dead. So I love this movie so much. I think this is something I can really relate to. It has like 3 out of the 4 main cast members are from Indiana. One is Flyboy, played by David MG. He passed away in January of 2024. He was from Evansville. Then you have the other 2. There's like the female and one of the males. Ken Foray from Indianapolis, and so was Galen Ross. She played the female. So I really love the chemistry between these 4 people. The other one was a cop in the movie. He's great too. He's really cocky in the movie, but I love the whole thing. That it has some a comedy, a mix of like horror. It has Tom Savini played one of the bikers in the movie. I know for me it's like I remember shopping malls when I was a kid looked a lot like they do in this movie. So that's why basically this is from like the late 70s and like the early 80s. Shopping malls still look the same because malls were not really that old at that time, so they wouldn't have renovated the malls until like maybe like the mid 80s, late 80s, something like that. So they were going to look basically the same. Very very basic, not like they are now with the a lot of people trying to sell things like in the hallway area. It was very much more open. So I love the chemistry. Like I said, I love the ending to this movie. Okay, so number 1 for 1986, director is James Cameron. Movie's called Aliens. So I really like the first 2 in this franchise. Obviously Ridley Scott did the first one. I think the first one was a little bit more scary, more like a horror film. This one's sort of like a horror action film, sort of. But you have Sigourney Weaver's back as Ripley. He has Lance Hendrickson. He has Paul Reiser, who plays a scumbag in the movie. Bill Paxton, Michael Biehn. This one has a lot more aliens in it, so it's in that way it's a little scarier, from that way. But I think the first one had more like atmosphere, less happening, but it was scarier than this one, I think. But this one's a great sequel. James Cameron did some like horror, basically starting in his career. I think he's working on some like a horror film now too, after he gets done with the Avatar films, which are big money makers. But he was really great in the 80s, and so I love the chemistry here. I think that the franchise kind of took a dive after this one. I think after these two great directors, really experts in directing. Obviously, David Fincher did the third one, but it was his debut. So he was kind of new to the business, but he's a great director too. But I don't think he really didn't get into it until like maybe the next one when he did Seven. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching this video. Like I said, please give me your top 5 or top 10. It could be like anything in these like horror franchises. Doesn't have to necessarily be like part 2. Like I said, Friday the 13th, I think part 4 is like my favorite one in the franchise. So, but I want to do like part 2 in this one. This is, like I said, all for fun. Happy Halloween to everybody. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. Please put a thumbs up on this video. And everybody have a great one.